tragic set of circumstances. We hold out hope that we may be able to find Gus and return him to his family.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard time. Hard time for everybody. 4 days is hard for a 4-year-old.
In the heart of South Australia's outback, where silence stretches wider than the horizon itself, a mystery has taken hold of a nation. A little boy, just 4 years old, vanished without a sound, without a sign, and without a single trace of where he went. His name was Gus Lamont. What began as a quiet afternoon on a remote sheep station turned into one of the most haunting disappearances Australia has ever seen. The land around Oak Park is vast, open, and wild, a place where time seems to stand still. Yet, in that space of stillness, something happened that no one can explain. Within minutes, a family's laughter turned to panic. Search teams arrived. Drones, helicopters, and hundreds of volunteers combed through endless kilometers of rugged terrain. Every path checked, every bush searched, but there was nothing. No footprints, no clothing, no sound in the wind to guide them. Days turned into weeks, and hope began to fade. Many believed the mystery of Gus Lamont would remain unsolved, a story swallowed by the outback itself. But now, something new has emerged. Fresh evidence, recently uncovered, that could rewrite everything investigators thought they knew. It's a discovery that doesn't just reopen the case, it challenges every theory that's come before. Tonight, we look deeper, beyond the headlines, beyond the search grids, to uncover what this new finding could mean, and whether it brings us closer to understanding what really happened to Gus Lamont. Because out here, in the stillness of the desert, the truth has a way of hiding, until someone finally knows where to look. Before we dive into this story, remember, this is Detective Kate, True Crime, a channel that stands for justice, and giving every case the attention it deserves. Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our investigations. And don't forget, share your thoughts and theories below. Every clue counts. It was an ordinary afternoon at Oak Park Station. Quiet, unremarkable, and peaceful. The kind of day where the only sounds are the hum of the wind and the distant bleating of sheep across the dry red earth. 4-year-old Gus Lamont had been playing just outside the homestead, a small dirt mound his world of imagination. He wore a gray sun hat, a bright blue shirt with a yellow minion on the front, light gray pants, and boots a size too big. His grandmother watched from the porch, just a few steps away. When she went inside to prepare dinner, she expected to hear his laughter drift through the window. But when she returned, only minutes later, the silence was heavier than before. Gus was gone. The family searched every corner of the property, calling his name into the endless open air. When no answer came, police were alerted, and by sunset the first search teams had arrived. By dawn, the operation had grown into one of the largest in South Australia's history. Drones circled overhead. Search dogs swept through brush and creek beds. Even the Defence Force joined in, covering vast sections of outback terrain, hundreds of square kilometers in every direction. Every track, every indentation in the dirt was studied. But day after day, the results were the same. No clothing, no tracks, no sign of Gus. And as the hours stretched into days, hope began to shift, replaced by confusion, frustration, and grief. For weeks, the case divided the country. Some believed Gus had wandered too far, lost in the harsh, unforgiving landscape. Others whispered darker theories, questions about how a child could vanish from open ground in broad daylight. But through the noise, one truth remained: no one knew where Gus Lamont had gone. And as the outback grew quiet once more, a question hung heavy in the air. How can someone so small simply disappear? As days turned to weeks, the search for Gus Lamont evolved into something larger, not just a rescue effort, but a full-scale investigation. Police established a dedicated task force, known as Task Force Horizon. From aerial footage to GPS tracking logs, satellite images, and even mobile tower data, Nothing was left unchecked. Investigators traced the search grids again and again, comparing drone recordings with ground reports. Every volunteer's route was mapped, every clue revisited. Forensic teams scoured the property and surrounding scrub, looking for anything out of place, a footprint, a fabric thread, a child's toy. But there was nothing conclusive, no clear direction of travel. It was as if the land itself had swallowed every sign. To keep momentum, police brought in tracking experts, indigenous bush trackers, search and rescue veterans, even data analysts trained in satellite interpretation. Each one offered a new angle. Each one left with the same question unanswered. Where did Gus go? As the investigation intensified, the online world erupted. Social media became a storm of theories, rumors, and speculation. Some posts claimed sightings hundreds of kilometers away. Others accused, speculated, or invented stories out of grief and confusion. But police urged calm. They clarified there was no evidence of foul play, and no proof that Gus had been taken. Still, the public's imagination filled the silence left by the unknown. A vanishing in open daylight, under the watch of family, with no sign of struggle, and no direction to follow. Behind closed doors, Task Force Horizon kept searching for patterns others might have missed, reconstructing every minute before Gus disappeared. Every step, every sighting, every second of possibility. And then, just as the investigation seemed to stall, something surfaced. An overlooked detail. A piece of evidence recovered outside the original search zone. It was small, but enough to raise new questions and reopen hope that maybe, just maybe, the mystery of Gus Lamont could still be solved. Late in the investigation, after weeks of silence, detectives received information that would bring them back to Oak Park Station. A fresh lead, something small, but significant enough to warrant a return to the very place where it all began. According to police sources, an object was discovered just beyond the original boundary of the search zone, nearly 2 kilometers from the homestead. The area had been swept early in the search, but this time the item was visible. Whether it had been missed or shifted over time remains unclear. The object, though authorities have not released full details, is believed to be linked to Gus. It has been sent for forensic testing, where specialists are examining DNA traces, fiber patterns, and environmental residue. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but within investigative circles, the find has reignited cautious hope. Please make sure you comment while listening to this update. Give us your feedback, and we'll make sure we respond to everything. That's a proof that we are fighting for justice and what is right. In an operation of this scale, every discovery, no matter how small, is a thread in a much larger picture. Investigators know that even one genuine clue can change the direction of a case. But it also reopens old questions. Was the item there all along, buried by time, weather, or human error? Or did it appear later, placed by the environment? For search teams who spent weeks in the heat and dust, the discovery feels bittersweet. They know the Outback doesn't give up secrets easily. Its winds can erase footprints within hours, and storms can shift the earth overnight. Yet this find, no matter how faint, suggests the story of Gus Lamont isn't finished, that somewhere in the silence, truth may still be waiting.